Hello ladies and gentlemen, I've got for you some Ubers today. Now, I've wanted to do Ubers for quite a while, but I've always just had this preconception that Ubers was just about really short offensive games, where everything in the tier was a bit massively overpowered, and to be honest, my idea of the tier hasn't really changed, but I thought I'd experiment with the team, play a few games and just see how it goes. So on my side, I've got Sun, but it's not really a Sun team. I've only got Sun just to counter Sand and Hail in order for Shedinja to survive. I've got Rock Polish Groudon, a specially defensive Excadrill, Shedinja, Arceus Grass, and Scarf, Reshiram, and Palkia. On my opponent's side, I did my homework before the game in familiarising myself with common sets, but it's hard to call from the team preview just because most things in Ubers, they can run multiple viable sets. But I know that Darkrai's are often sashed, and Kyogres and Mewtwo's are often choiced. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Looking at the team preview, I figured he'd lead with either Darkrai to put something to sleep, or Kyogre to set up Rain. So Groudon would be a good lead for two reasons. Firstly, it's slower than Kyogre, so Sun will activate after Rain. And secondly, if he wants to lead with the Darkrai, I do have a sleep counter in Reshiram, and I want to get the Sun up just because Reshiram does have Solar Beam. I don't want to land a Sleep Talk Solar Beam if the Sun isn't up. And it's not a major reason, but it will give me a slight edge. So he does put Reshiram to sleep and then stays in, obviously predicting the switch, and not knowing that I have the Sleep Talk. But it's these exact situations that I find having Sleep Talk on a choice user viable. So I get the Draco Meteor, which will easily bring Darkrai down to its sash. Those things are very frail, as he does go for Nasty Plot, and because I do outspeed, that will be wasted. So his Darkrai, which is a massive danger to Shedinja, will go down, as I do score the Blue Flare on the next Sleep Talk, whose animation looks absolutely unreal, really thumbnail worthy, and that was actually the first time I'd ever seen that animation, which should tell you how much Ubers I've previously played or seen. In comes Arceus normal here, and I don't want to be staying in as I am at -2 special attack, and I know that Arceus can run like every set known to man, but I know that some Arceuses like my own will have Calm Mind, Recover, Judgment, and then a coverage move such as Ice Beam, if they're especially variant of course. So Shedinja might be an invulnerable switch, and I do have a guaranteed live with Focus Sash, but he turns out to be an extreme killer Arceus with Shadow Force instead of Shadow Claw. The Focus Sash does allow me to live one hit and fire off a Will-O-Wisp, which I would usually say cripples its attack. This is the god of all Pokemon, a freaking Arceus with Swords Dance, so the Will-O-Wisp will actually be more useful for residual damage. So I predict another Shadow Force, but he very nicely predicts my switch and goes for another SD. I thought I might be able to live an EQ and go for Rocks, I think it was, but EQ absolutely annihilates Excadrill, who can only dream of being a Shedinja. Thankfully though, because of Burn, I might be able to live an Extreme Speed with Groudon's natural bulk, and he does live and can just fire an EQ back. And Groudon was an absolute must for me in this team because it is my favourite legendary Pokemon back from playing through Ruby, and just annihilating the Elite Four with Eruption, Steven's Metagross didn't stand a chance. But back in the older games, legendaries actually meant something. To get the 3 Regis was actually a challenge. But since Black and White, there just seems to be a whole flood of new legendary Pokemon, which for me that just misses the whole point of it. It was meant to be special to catch a legendary Pokemon. But anyway, back into the game, he brings Kyogre in to threaten out the Groudon, but I know that barring a toxic Shedinja walls every Kyogre set under the sun, so I can safely switch into that and then go for a trick, to steal its item or whatever item comes in, which is the Garchomp's Choice Scarf. Now I know Garchomp gets Fire Fang, but it isn't Stab, Rain is up, and it is a fairly weak move, so I am safe to switch out to my own Arceus Grass to sponge hits, and maybe start setting up. As Outrage is only doing about 45% and I can recover to full every time, but this time I'm just going to go straight for the Judgment. I do outspeed, but I can catch the incoming Mewtwo and score a crit, and that crit does matter because without the crit at max I could only have done 70.23% with Judgment, and Mewtwo does outspeed. However, if he was a Life Orb variant at max, a Psy Strike, which I think is the stronger hit after Stab than Ice Beam, that would only do 243 damage, so I could have definitely lived one and then killed him with a second Judgment. If he was Specs however, then I wouldn't have lived it, so it would have mattered in killing Arceus. He brings in Kyogre, and the way he brought it in on Arceus suggested he was Choice Scarfed, but once again I can just wall it completely with Shedinja and then go for Will-O-Wisp, just for a residual damage on anything left on his team. I don't want to lose Shedinja, because I do need it for Kyogre, so I thought I was switching to Groudon here as Death Fodder, just as he goes for the Fire Fang, which does barely anything, but it's actually a very good play now switching Garchomp out, as I wasn't aware that Rayquaza couldn't hit Shedinja. Without Garchomp he loses this game, but I go for the Rock Polish on the off chance he switches, as he does, and I can live the E-Speed due to the natural bulk and then just finish Rayquaza off the Stone Edge. So on the double down I can just go into Scarf Palkia, who outspeeds his 2 remaining Pokemon, and realising that there isn't really anything he can do here, he just decides to run, so that will be the game. So that was a really enjoyable first stint into Ubersville. Thank you very much, Pokeguy. I think I will do the odd Ubers game every now and again, but I won't be playing it anywhere near enough to justify new pokes yet. So I hope you enjoyed that, and with that being said, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.